it's Denise. Um, I know not many of you have probably seen my video on what it's like having a bad day as a disabled person. It's a long video, it's over an hour, so it would only be for those who truly are interested in seeing what someone with what they often refer to as like an invisible disability deals with on the days that you probably don't see them. Most of the time, if I'm doing a video, I'm probably feeling pretty good. The day I shot that particular video, in fact, it was back in the cold weather. I was wearing what I think of as my Victorian granny nightgowns. I, they're cheapy Walmart kind of stretch, velvety kind of nightgowns, but anyway, they just kind of have this old-fashioned look to them, and they go almost to your ankles. And I usually wear them in the colder weather. I woke up this morning, though, and I was having definitely the start of not a great day in terms of waking up with a significant headache and body aches, specifically my legs both hurting. And it's not a good sign when you change out of, like, I usually sleep in the warmer weather. I just sleep in an oversized t-shirt. Like, I have several, size like 3X t-shirts, so they're like, at least mid-thigh length, so you're decent if you need to get up and walk to the bathroom or go grab something from the kitchen or whatever. Remember, I do live with my son. Not that either of us are big on false modesty, but we're also not walking around naked. Let's just make that clear. Anyway, so this morning I woke up and it was like, oh, I don't feel good. And yeah, I actually changed out of the nightshirt that I slept in into my slightly warmer granny nightgown. And I think I'll probably be spending the better part of the day in bed today. And that brings me back to the whole, when you have an invisible disability or illness, autoimmune disease, migraines, God, there's so many, fibromyalgia. In my case, it was a spinal cord injury that caused it to go from just, I've always had migraines that at times could be bad enough to make me miss work. But the spinal cord injury was what ended my career as a nurse. I'm going to try to stop saying so much. I know those of you who watch me are either counting it because it's so annoying or have forgiven me and accepted that I say it a lot. Hopefully more of you are doing the latter. So when you wake up and know that it's just going to be one of those days, it's like plans for breakfast, yeah, that went out the window in terms of being anything like the least bit involving cooking or anything. Breakfast is going to be, you got it, the breakfast of champions, a protein shake. And I go for the ones that are lower carb. That's just, again, if you've watched some of my videos about weight loss and I had weight loss surgery. I then went on to lose about 100 pounds. I then had some loose skin removed from my stomach. I have videos about that stuff that you can check out if you're interested. But I do try, I have like a 5-pound range that I try to keep within. If I'm dropping below it, it means I'm not paying enough attention and I'm not eating enough, so I focus on eating more. If I start to creep above it, I obviously do not want to gain back the weight that I lost, so that means I need to cut back my calories, and a lot of times it's also just a matter of salt. I might gain 2 pounds because I ate something salty So I just have to make a point over the next day or two of drinking a lot of water and cutting back on the salt, and essentially it was fluid retention and it'll come off. But if I know I've been eating sweets or I've been eating more fattening things than I should be, then I definitely want to keep a handle on not gaining real, actual weight back. And that's another time when it's good to focus on high protein, low carb. And this isn't the only brand that I drink. I drink the Ensure Max Protein, which if you want the lowest carbs and the highest protein, as far as Ensure products go, this is the one to get. There are also the Quest protein shakes that meet kind of the same requirements, very low carb, high protein. Walmart does the Equate, their brand version of, basically they mimic the Quest shakes. I've had their caramel ones. They're pretty good, and they are a little less expensive than the Quest. Unjury, Unjury, does protein shakes that I also enjoy. I particularly like their vanilla. It's funny, it's like each brand seems to have one flavor that I like the best. With the Ensure, it's definitely the mixed berry, and they seem to be the hardest ones to find. A lot of times the stores will have like the chocolate, the vanilla, the mocha, but these are the hardest to find. Anyway, on a day when I'm not feeling good, like basically no one but my son and anyone who watches this video is likely to see me today. And I guess one of the things I wanted to explain is, for someone who has a disability, like right now as I'm sitting here, the right side of my head is throbbing with a migraine, and my thighs, my legs, the muscles are really hurting. Now, they've been hurting for the past 2 days, and I've been able to make videos because I make most of my videos sitting here. I'm sitting on the side of my bed, which is where my computer is set up. Only if I'm doing a video with my phone would I be somewhere other than here. So it's easy enough to make a video when my legs are hurting, and you wouldn't necessarily know if it's one that just involves me sitting. But when I also have a migraine, it's kind of like even the amount of light I have on, and the light isn't directly at me, and I have the brightness level of the monitor of my computer almost all the way down to the lowest it can be. This is still an uncomfortable amount of light for me, and as soon as I'm done filming the video, I'm going to turn it off. If you have videos, not what I meant to say. If you have migraines, you probably will understand this next bit. My bedroom is in the corner of the apartment, so there are 2 windows on that wall, 2 windows on this wall, and all 4 of them are covered, so that when I turn the lights off, even in the daytime, it's like dark as a cave in here. And pretty much anybody who lives with migraines has either blackout blinds or some sort of drapes they can pull over their windows, or, like me, just permanently has something decorative hanging over their windows. So being in the dark, being where it's quiet, is really the only thing that helps. Medication only does so much. Part of why I need to get myself working on actually opening this and drinking it as opposed to just staring at it is so that I can take the medication for my headache, which I don't like to do on an empty stomach. Sometimes it just adds to the nausea, which you already have some nausea with a migraine. As I've mentioned before, I'm on 2 preventative medicines. One is an injectable that you do once a month, which I just took a couple days ago, and the other is a tablet, which I take twice a day. But even with that, there are, what they call breakthrough days, where you're still going to have symptoms, and a lot of chronic illnesses have that same problem. You may be on something for your illness, but that doesn't mean that you won't have days where you're still having symptoms. Now, today was supposed to be busy. Not with anything exciting, mind you, but I don't have garbage pickup at my house. I bring my garbage to the dump. It's only like a 15-minute drive, but it's the pain of putting all the bags of garbage, because we usually do it like once a week or so. Bringing the bags of garbage out to the truck, going to the place, putting it on the scale so it can be weighed, dropping it into the big dumpster thing, then paying for it by how much it weighed. Definitely was planning on doing that today. Right now, not so much feeling like I'm going to do that. In fact, when I just saw my son downstairs a little while ago, said good morning and all, and let him know that he probably wasn't going to be seeing much of me, that I was going to kind of be a blob for at least the next few hours. Hopefully I'll feel better in a couple hours. Waking up not feeling well doesn't necessarily mean the whole day is ruined. Sometimes I might feel better, especially if I can get myself comfortable enough that I can fall back to sleep. Sometimes getting a little more rest seems to help my head reset as far as the headache goes. Although the pain in my legs really, when I'm having a day like that, doesn't really seem to be much I can do. And I've tried everything, over the years that I've had this, from heat packs, cold packs, hot baths, there's really not much that actually helps. The other thing I needed to do today is, I've shown, again, I've mentioned, I have two, each one holds 1 week worth of medications, and I need to refill them today, which is a tedious and annoying task, and that's why I have 2 of them, so I only have to do it every 2 weeks. Figure if you're going to take the bottles out and be counting out the pills, you might as well do 2 weeks worth instead of just 1 week. So usually I like to do it a couple days ahead of when I have to do it, but I realized this morning when I took my medication that I have to do it today. Tonight's dose of medication are the last ones that I have filled, so I would need to do this for tomorrow morning. So obviously that involves having the glasses on, reading labels, sitting, being very careful to make sure, because obviously when I put them in my hands before I take them every morning and every night, I double check that it's the right pills, but you also want to make sure, as you're setting them up, you don't want to make mistakes in case you overlook it when you pour it into your hand and take them, especially if you're doing that in a hurry. Excuse me, my glorious overnight long hair. Did you check that out? The glorious overnight long hair? Yeah, that tells you I didn't get around to dyeing my hair. But that's something else I was planning on doing today. Need to do the bleaching first to get my hair light enough that it'll take the colors that I want, because one of them is a light blue color, and then I have blue and I have red. It's going to be like an all-day process, and it's going to involve stinky chemicals like the bleach and then the hair color. I can't do that when I have a migraine and I'm already nauseous. There's just no way I can deal with being around the smelly chemicals. So coloring my hair is out today. And I guess I just wanted to share that there are those in-between days, and for me today is an in-between day. I'm not flat on my back, completely, hiding in the dark just yet, although I am hoping to do that to see if I can get myself feeling better, especially once I take something to actually treat a migraine in progress, as opposed to the regular preventative medicines that I take every day. I thought I was going to be doing more close-up reading, and that's why I put the glasses on before I started the video, and now I'm just feeling like I think I showed you everything that I pretty much had to show you. And I can take the glasses off, which is less glare when I'm looking at the screen, and also they're reading glasses, so at the distance that I look at the screen when I'm recording, that's a little out of reading distance, so things are blurry. They're clearer now. Anything close to my face would be blurry, but things a little further away are clearer. So, yeah, things get put on hold when you're having one of those days that, like, if I was still working as a nurse, I would not have been able to go to work today. It's hard for me to walk today. Every single step hurts, and it's both legs. Sometimes it's just one. My right leg tends to be worse than my left, but the past 2 days, both legs have been hurting, and today both legs are hurting. This would not have been a day that I would have been up for, being on my feet for 8 to 12 hours, depending on what type of shift I was working. I would not have been up to being on my feet for that kind of day. I mean, I can't do that at all anymore, honestly, because of balance issues and the weakness in my legs. But with the pain situation I have going on today, definitely would not be up for that kind of walking. And also, I was a behavioral health nurse for most of my career, which means in a lot of cases working on a locked psychiatric unit where you're seeing people while they're not at their best, and oftentimes when they are first hospitalized, they may actually be physically aggressive, and it is the nursing staff's responsibility to keep people safe, the other patients, the patient who is acting out, who often isn't doing it because they're not doing it because they're a bad person. They're doing it because they're mentally ill, and at that particular time, their symptoms are not under control. So, it's not something to be angry at them for. You're there to stop them from getting hurt, to stop them from hurting other patients, and to stop them from hurting the staff. So the staff works together, but it can get physical. People used to joke with me that, being a behavioral health nurse is like a part-time pro wrestler, and sometimes that's the truth, because unlike a police officer, we're not armed. We're there to make sure no one gets hurt, including the person who is being, subdued or restrained, or, I hate to use any of these words that are kind of loaded in our society, because it is being done. If you're working with a good team of people, everyone's goal is the same, that no one, the patient who is acting out violently, patients around you, or the staff, no one gets hurt during the interaction. That is the goal. And that often means doing things where I am more likely to get hurt than the person that I'm trying to restrain. So it's a very different approach than how police approach a person who's behaving violently. But again, you can understand why once I couldn't balance and I couldn't walk long distances, and I cannot run. Running is just something I can't do anymore. So if someone yelled from the far end of the hall that they needed help, as a nurse, you run to get to that person before they or someone else get hurt. And I can't run anymore at all. My balance sucks walking, so running is completely out of the question. So, yeah, even if I was still capable of doing the job that I really loved being a nurse. I was a nurse for 26 years. I can't do it anymore. And if I had woken up having a day like today where this amount of pain, plus the migraine that's my preventative meds aren't holding off, I wouldn't have been able to go to work. So, like I said, it's a medium day. I didn't wake up vomiting and needing to stay in the dark for hours. I was able to get up, do a couple quick things, but the headache's just getting worse. And I wanted to make this video to show that people you know, people you work with, family, friends, people who have these so-called invisible illnesses, just know that when they say that they can't make it today or they have to reschedule, don't take it that they're blowing you off, or like as we speak, because I've been looking at the light, like I can just feel this headache getting worse and worse, so I'm really going to wrap this up. Understand that someone might look fine on the outside, but they are having a day where their underlying condition, their, whatever their medical problem is flaring up, and they legitimately cannot do the things that they were planning So try to have a little empathy. And if you're someone who, like myself, does struggle with these things, give yourself a break. When you're having a day that you know it's in your best interest to rest and take care of yourself, and if you need to take additional medications on those days, don't feel guilty about doing that, because the sooner you take care of yourself, the sooner hopefully you'll be back on your feet and doing what you wanted to get done today. I'm probably not going to make it to the garbage dump today. It's probably going to have to wait till tomorrow. We're expecting thunderstorms today anyway, so it might not have been a great day to do it, although I was hoping to get it done early. But again, it just turned out when I woke up that this is one of the days that it's not going to happen. So whether you're someone who yourself suffers with an invisible illness or disability, or if you know someone, family member, friend, coworker, I wanted to share that this is what those days look like. My other video shows a much worse day, like I said, and feel free to watch that if you want to get a little more insight into what it's like when you're having one of the really bad days. But there are days that just the activities you had planned have to get cut short or rescheduled. And I'm now going to turn off the lights, drink at least a little bit of my protein shake so that I can take the medicine that I can't take on an empty stomach. And hopefully in a couple hours, I'll feel better enough to at least get back to doing some small things around the house. Or even if not that, better enough to listen to music or listen to an audiobook. Or if I keep the screen dim, watch a movie or a TV show. With the headaches, a lot of times I can't do a lot of screen time, so it might be more audiobooks or music. When it's really bad, I can't even have the sound, the noise from that. But that's my plan for the immediate next couple hours, and I just wanted to share that with everyone. Again, support to those of us who are going through it, living with it, and hopefully to help educate people who are maybe not so familiar, but who are open-minded and want to know how to be supportive or understanding. And I'm not saying that you have to go asking someone. In fact, you shouldn't go asking. If they want to discuss the details of their medical condition, they'll bring it up. But don't be judgmental. If someone says they're not feeling well or that their condition is flaring up, I don't suddenly sprout purple spots or a tail or something that lets the world know that I'm in pain. You just have to trust me. And one of the most frustrating things about having that type of disability or illness is that it's not visible. And people sometimes think you're faking it, or it's all in your head, or you don't really have anything wrong with you. And most of us have been confronting that since maybe even before our diagnosis was finally figured out. So you want to be empathetic to someone who is struggling with this, and especially if they confide in you that they're having a rough day, just be supportive. Just let them know that you get it. Even if you don't have it yourself, just having someone say, I get it. You don't have to give me the details. I get it. You're not feeling well today. And you need to take care of yourself. We'll schedule whatever it is we were going to do today. We'll do it another day. And don't be angry at them for needing to reschedule. So thank you for taking the time to listen and to learn. And if you're someone who is struggling, I hope that when you have a bad day, you have people who are understanding. So take care of yourself, as I am going to try to drink some of this, which when you're nauseous, it's not appealing to eat or drink anything, but I don't want to make myself more nauseous by taking medicine on an empty stomach. So I'm going to do that, and thank you again for watching. I know this isn't a subject that is necessarily flashy or interesting or something everyone wants to educate themselves on, but I think it's important that we know how to be understanding of, supportive of the people in our lives that have an invisible illness or disability. Have a great day, and hopefully I will be having a better day later, and I'll get some stuff done. Thank you for watching. Like the video.